began creating the protégé for my practicum placement by first thinking about the students who I will be teaching. I had not yet met them, but I had seen the classroom, met with the teacher, and discussed the class environment, interest, and diversity. Taking that information, I began to brainstorm topics that I thought would be interesting to the class and looking for a book that I would centralize my lessons around. I ended up choosing the book Moonshot, Flight of Apollo 11, based on the content, historical information, and mainly because of the artwork and creative ideas I had while going through the book. Once I had decided on the book, I began to form lessons that I felt would interest and excite the students in the activities, as well as meet my lesson objectives. My CCT wanted me to follow general guidelines based on what he had been teaching, which were writing and more specifically being able to identify the main idea and supporting details of the story, as well as being able to communicate the beginning, middle, and end of the story. I used all of this information to begin forming my lessons for my practicum placement. I understand that creating a protégé, sorry if I'm butchering that, should be based on the interests of the children in the classroom and open and subject to change based on what the students are interested in and where these interests lead the lessons. I feel as though I'm struggling with being able to balance what I should be doing with what I am able to do and accomplish in the classroom. My CCT has been a great example and has allowed me to incorporate many of my ideas in the classroom, yet I do not feel as though the students are used to the freedom that the Reggio Emilia approach provides, and therefore I'm struggling with being able to successfully implement my Reggio Emilia techniques as well as meeting my core objectives and standards. I first made adjustments to my project in the beginning to insert more creativity and originality into the lessons. The major changes that I made were adding in a game of charades while the students were first being introduced to the vocabulary words, and having the students act out sections of the book while we are discussing the main idea and supporting details of the text. I learned that by doing this, I can make adjustments to the public school environment that I am in to make it more creative and developmentally appropriate for the students' learning. I've also had to make changes while implementing my protégé lessons in the classroom. The first lesson that I taught did not go quite as planned, and I realized that the students did not have the background knowledge needed to be able to apply the vocabulary words to their writing. So I went back and I retaught that portion of the lesson. And another change that I would have made in the future would be to switch these two lessons. So I would teach the second lesson first and the first lesson that I taught after that, and so that therefore they would be creating the vocabulary books first to become more familiar with the words, and then going back and I would have them try and use their words in paragraph form to describe the book or describe what happened in the book. And how would I approach this in my own classroom? I'll approach project work in my future classroom by envisioning my classroom as a blank slate filled with creative and imaginative minds that are eager to explore the world around them. I will envision the classroom to be open to all possibilities and begin planning all activities as though there are no limitations. I think with that mindset, there are endless creative possibilities to be applied to children's learning. I would change the classroom not only according to each group of students that I had each year, but also based on how the class develops throughout the year. I would try and incorporate lots of hands-on activities and have the students actively engaged in their work, as well as the development of their lessons and future projects. I believe that creativity and flexibility are crucial aspects in designing my future classroom, and I hope to incorporate all of those in the future and throughout this practicum as well as my next. Thank you.